Hey, this is Ashley.
And Cindy.
And this is Life for Dummies.
Because we're real dumb.
Okay, what are we talking about today, Cindy?
I thought we should talk about maintaining your peace.
Oh, that's very great. Especially in the midst of toxic relationships or toxic situations, huh?
Yeah, just chaos in general. How do you maintain your peace during those times?
Well, for me, I really make sure that I don't waste too much space, like you have said before in some of these episodes, where sometimes I can allow other people to rent space in my head. So I need to make sure that I'm not putting too much energy in my mind and my thinking on these toxic relationships or the circumstances that are coming from toxic situations.
Yeah, and I also like to think of it like, okay, is this happening? Is this my stuff to deal with? Or is this someone else's stuff? And I just need to not be a part of that. And it's someone else's stuff, like their control issues, them trying to micromanage situations, them trying to be the big man in charge. Like when it's like that, I just bow out gracefully and I'm like, you know what? It's not worth my time and it's definitely not worth my peace.
That's amazing.
Anything that costs me my peace is entirely too expensive today.
It's hard when when I'm stuck in a situation around these types of people and I can't really get out of it yet. Maybe I'm in a toxic relationship and I've now have left denial and realize it, but I'm still in that relationship. And it could also be situation, it could be professionally or any other type of situation in my life, recognizing that it's there, stepping out of that self-denial, and then still kind of having to engage in that situation on a daily basis or a weekly basis. It's kind of hard.
It is hard. So this is where being spiritually fit comes in. And it's really important, right? So I start every day out with reading and meditating and praying and asking for, my higher power to show me his will and then my ability to just be in his will all day and live that out. And so when I can do that and I am spiritually fit and God-centered, so to speak, it is so much easier to deal with those situations and be able to maintain my peace, realizing that I can't change it. I can't control it. I can't make this person do what I want them to do. They're going to do what they're going to do, and I just have to simply let them. And I can just sit back and not be an active participant in the chaos.
Yes, I think that for me, what I like to do is focus on how can I surrender in this moment, because the person or the situation is really enacting a lot of chaos and wanting to get me in particular to react to it and get involved in it. So what I have to do is surrender a lot. And just say, okay, I'm going to surrender in this moment. I'm not going to react. I'm not going to act out. I just am going to let go. And when I let go, I usually end up doing the right thing and everything works out.
Yeah, letting go is another form of not trying to maintain control of everything. And when I try to control everything, that's when the problems start to happen. I'm going to control and manage some stuff. I'm going to make it go my way. It never goes my way when I'm doing those things. Like you said, I have to simply surrender. And I surrender many times all day long. I do it every morning when I wake up, I surrender. And then it is very easy to take it back and then have to remember that I need to surrender again, And when I continue to do those things, life is just peaceful and I'm happy, joyous, and free, like we talk about here, you know?
That's, I think, a really good point because you and I live in the real world. It's not like we are living in some kind of fantasy land where everything is perfect all the time around us. It's just that we have learned how to enact with the real world and the things that happen in it that create chaos. We've learned the what are they? They're not coping skills, I guess the spiritual principles of how to live around this reality
Mm-hmm.
and still maintain our peace.
Right. So if I'm applying spiritual principles in all areas of my life, then there really is no conflict. And that's the tricky part. Like, how do I implement these spiritual principles in my life when I'm dealing with someone who is trying to, and I've learned that no one takes my peace, right? I give it away every time. So if I'm dealing with someone that is chaotic and controlling and manipulative and likes to micromanage everything, then I can think, okay, what spiritual principle can I implement here? And it's just that of love, you know? And I just have to love people where they're at and accept that. And then I have to do the best I can with what I have and use the tools that have been given to me. And when I do that, it usually works out so much better for everyone involved.
I love that. It's this image in my mind of like you growing, right? Like spiritually or within your inner self, you growing in capacity to be able to have, not only the difficulties of that person and their character defects around you, but then still be able to respond in love, right? I'm thinking of like an encompassing cocoon or a womb, like, and you're growing larger and larger. And for me, there's a lot of people over the years who have talked about that, inner growth is how individuals lead peaceful lives in the world.
Yeah, there I'm thinking of this story. This one time, it always starts with this one time. But I was new to this way of life and I had no idea about peace. I had no idea about spiritual principles. And I was driving my car and these two boys were driving next to each other and they were talking with their windows down in between the two cars. So they would not let me get around them. So we got to a red light. And instead of just remaining calm and like just taking a deep breath and saying, you know what, even if you do get around them, you might get there 2 minutes faster. I got out of my car at the red light. He saw me coming up and I'm knocking on his window, like yelling at him. I am this
Oh,
crazy lady, right? Standing in the middle of the road. People are looking and I'm yelling at him, pointing at him. You wouldn't let me get by. It was insane. It was literally
so
insane.
funny.
So when I start to feel myself like not being loving and kind and caring, I remember that and I'm like, yeah, you are, yeah, no, we're not going to crazy town over this. Like, it's just not worth it. But I have to remind myself because I can still go there. I can still choose not to apply spiritual principles and I can give my peace away. And that's what I did that day. I totally gave my peace away to these two young kids who were literally just like having a conversation. Should they have been doing that? Probably not. But I definitely should not have been doing that. It was insane. I can just imagine what that poor kid was thinking and all the people around me. Like, oh, we need to put this one in a straitjacket or something.
That is so funny. I can see you out there in the middle of the street. You listen to me.
Oh boy. So even Ashley and I, we don't get it right all the time, but for the most part, we do this pretty well on a daily basis.
Another principle or tool for this type of experience in life that I utilize is positive self talk because I find that toxic people have negative self talk and they want everyone else around them to also have negative self talk. It's weird. It's like this, compulsive action that they try to put on everyone around them.
Yeah, negativity breeds negativity. If you're around negative people, you will in turn become negative. If you are around positive people, you will in turn become positive. It just kind of rubs off on you and you can't help it, you know? And that's what Ashley and I want for you. We want you to be fed by the positivity. We want you to feel loved and cared about, and welcomed with open arms here.
Exactly. So make sure that out of your 5 closest friends, we become 2 of them.
The two.
We love you.
Thanks, guys.